The Fiend Bray Wyatt joins the Judgment Day. Braun Strowman sends a message after WWE RAW return. Veteran bashes WWE for Braun Strowman's return. New member of Roman Reigns' bloodline breaks silence. Drew McIntyre pitches unique way to dethrone Roman Reigns. WWE failing Dexter Lumis. Let's jump right into our first story. Braun Strowman sends a message after WWE RAW return. Braun Strowman has shared his first tweet after returning to WWE on the latest episode of Raw. Over a year after his WWE release, the Monster Among Men made his big return to the company on tonight's edition of Raw. Upon his return, Strowman did what he usually does best, cause havoc and destroy everyone that comes in his way. He interfered in a fatal four-way tag team contenders match and put everyone down in his path with ease. Braun Strowman has now finally broken his Twitter silence following his return to WWE. He shared a heartfelt 7-word message for the WWE Universe in his tweet. To cap it off, he added the hashtag thank you in the end. "I've missed you all so very much. Hashtag thank you," wrote Strowman. Based on the reactions to Braun Strowman's tweet, fans seem excited to see him make his way to WWE again. The Monster Among Men once stated that he would retire from pro wrestling if WWE ever parted ways with him. Here's what he had to say: "I've said it time and time again. The day I take my wrestling boots off for WWE is the day I stop wrestling. I will not wrestle for anyone else. I've been given an opportunity from Vince McMahon and from WWE at life that I would have never gotten." Strowman was shockingly released by WWE last year, shortly after he was featured in a WWE title program with Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. He wrestled on several occasions after his WWE release, and went on to launch Control Your Narrative with his best friend EC3. Are you excited to see Strowman back in WWE? Sound off in the comments below. Veteran bashes WWE for Braun Strowman's return. Former WWE head writer Vince Russo feels that the company could have done a better job of booking Braun Strowman's return on Raw. The Alpha Academy, Los Lotharios, The New Day, and the Street Profits were in a fatal four-way match to determine the #1 contenders for the undisputed Tag Team Championship. However, the match came to an abrupt end when the Monster Among Men returned and cleared the ring. He took out every competitor and announced his dominance over the WWE roster. Speaking on Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw show, Russo mentioned that WWE could have plugged in Strowman's return at a better time. He pointed out that fans weren't investing in the tag team match, so having the former Universal Champion destroy them did little for him. Horrible, horrible, horrible booking. You're gonna bring back a guy after so long and he's gonna lay out tag teams that nobody cares about anymore. He continued, "They could have created a moment for Braun to return with impact that would have blown the roof off the place. This was not it. I could have cared less if he laid out 8 tag teams. What does that mean?" After leaving the red brand in the wake of his destruction, Braun Strowman later spoke about his intentions in a backstage interview. He mentioned that he was back and nobody on the roster was safe. He also stated that he would be on SmackDown later this week to bring destruction to the blue brand. It will be interesting to see if Braun Strowman's appearance on SmackDown brings him face to face with his former, longtime rival, Roman Reigns. Fans may recall that the Tribal Chief had pinned Strowman in a triple threat match at Payback 2020 to win the Universal title and start his record-breaking reign. Do you think the Monster Among Men is headed for a collision with the Tribal Chief? Sound off in the comments below. New member of Roman Reigns' bloodline breaks silence. WWE superstar Solo Sikoa recently took to social media to deliver a message after helping Roman Reigns at Clash at the Castle. The NXT star is the younger brother of Jimmy and Jey Uso. This past Saturday at Clash at the Castle, Sikoa made a shocking appearance during the main event between Reigns and Drew McIntyre. He appeared near the end of the match to pull the referee out of the ring while McIntyre pinned Reigns. This distracted the Scottish Warrior as Reigns took advantage and hit the spear for the win. It seems like he has been added as a new member of the Bloodline faction after helping the Tribal Chief secure a victory at the UK event and retain his undisputed world title. Following the developments, the WWE on Fox Twitter account shared a montage of the Bloodline's achievement. They also highlighted Sikoa's involvement at Clash at the Castle. The NXT star replied to the tweet, saying that blood relations always come first. "Blood comes first. Always," Sikoa wrote. Several fans took note of the Street Champion's message and replied with their thoughts on Twitter. Several fans were happy for Sikoa and appreciated him. They are also eager to see him succeed in his next chapter. Some fans mentioned that they were waiting to see Sikoa with the Brotherhood and hoped to see the Bloodline also capture the United States and Intercontinental titles. The NXT star has not been officially inducted into the Bloodline. It remains to be seen what Roman Reigns will have to say to his cousin on the upcoming episode of SmackDown. It will also be interesting to see whether Clash at the Castle was a one-off appearance for Sikoa or if he will move to the main roster permanently. Are you happy to see Solo Sikoa in the Bloodline? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Drew McIntyre pitches unique way to dethrone Roman Reigns. Drew McIntyre didn't manage to defeat Roman Reigns to capture the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at Clash at the Castle. With the head of the table's title reign not expected to end anytime soon, many within the WWE Universe are in favor of splitting the two championships, hence giving each brand a world champion going forward. Drew McIntyre recently spoke with Inside the Ropes to discuss a wide variety of subjects. When asked about the possibility of WWE splitting the Universal and WWE Championships in the future, McIntyre believes that might not be a bad thing if that's possible to do. "I mean, there's no talk to me about any plan whatsoever," Drew McIntyre said. "That's truth, and generally, I don't like to find it till the last minute because things change so much anyway, but splitting the titles may not be a bad thing if it's possible. And I've been seeing it constantly on TV and in media. I do believe the titles deserve to be represented in an appropriate manner, which means being on the show." McIntyre went on to say that he feels that when both titles are together, it's hard for them to be represented on both shows. The former WWE champion pointed to WWE live events and media interviews as examples of why the two titles could be separate. "When they're both together, they can't be on both shows," Drew McIntyre continued. "The weekend live events, the media interviews right now, the title should be represented, should be very visible. There's a certain honor and prestige to those titles, and they used to be defended every 30 days, and we've lost that somewhere along the line. And they're fine right now. They're on a huge star like Roman Reigns, but at the same time, I do believe they need to be on the show. And there's more emphasis on wrestling right now. It would be nice if the champion would wrestle." What do you make of McIntyre's comments? Do you think it would be a wise move for WWE to split the two championships currently held by Roman Reigns? Let us know your thoughts by sounding off in the comments section below. WWE failing Dexter Lumis. Former WWE writer Vince Russo believes new Raw superstar Dexter Lumis can succeed where Bray Wyatt's The Fiend character failed. Wyatt received his release from WWE in July 2021, 2 years after he debuted the horror-themed Fiend persona. Like the three-time world champion, Lumis strikes an imposing presence on WWE television. He can also capture the audience's attention without saying a word. On Sportskeeda Wrestling's Writing with Russo show, Russo suggested that WWE should book a storyline between Ciampa and Lumis. To make the angle a success, he thinks the company would benefit from bringing in writers with the experience of creating horror scripts. "If I was going to do a Lumis and a Ciampa storyline, I swear to God I would hire a Hollywood horror writer," Russo said. "Literally, that's what I would do. I would say, okay, bro, we've got this program with these two guys. Give me 3 to 6 months of television to a legit horror writer." Russo added that WWE's inability to book The Fiend correctly is why Wyatt's larger-than-life character did not achieve more success. The WWE have the finances to be able to see that writer's vision through. Russo continued, "If it's off-site, with special effects, whatever he wants to do, they have the money to do it. Here's the problem and here's the slippery slope. This is why Bray Wyatt failed." Dexter Lumis is one of many former NXT superstars who have returned to WWE since Triple H took over as the head of creative in July. Bray Wyatt's name is often mentioned when the subject of returning WWE superstars is discussed, but his possible rehiring does not appear to be imminent. Before Clash at the Castle on Saturday, the game spoke to BT Sports' Ariel Helwani about his experience working with Wyatt. "One of the most, I mean this in the best way possible, crazy, creative people I've ever been around," Triple H said. "Mine just never stops thinking of creative. But it's like being in a whirlwind of stuff. So without the harness and without somebody to point the tornado, it's just all over the place. He's a victim of his own mind and is creative, and it's just everywhere." While Wyatt's future is unknown, Lumis will likely to appear on Monday's episode of Raw. The 38-year-old's rival, The Miz, will challenge Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship in a steel cage match on the show. Would you like Bray Wyatt to return to WWE? Let us know in the comments section. The Fiend Bray Wyatt joins the Judgment Day. Former NXT North American and the United States champion Damian Priest has commented on whether he would be open to working with former WWE star Bray Wyatt. It's been speculated that the Eater of Worlds is on his way back to the company following Vince McMahon's exit and Triple H's takeover. The game has brought back several released stars over the past couple of weeks, including Dexter Lumis, Karrion Kross, and Dakota Kai. The former Universal Champion recently posted a cryptic tweet on Twitter, reacting to the rumors about his much-anticipated return. Speaking to Alistair McGeorge of Metro, Damian Priest stated he would love to work with Bray Wyatt as there's plenty to learn from him. Absolutely, of course, the guy's extremely smart with how to present himself and you can always learn from someone like that. And getting to work with him, I think he's a fantastic performer. That would be cool to be able to do something with him. For sure, if there was ever a day that was a possibility, that would be cool, he said. During a recent interview with Ariel Helwani on BT Sport, the cerebral assassin himself shared his honest thoughts on the Eater of Worlds and what it was like working with him in WWE. "One of the most, I mean this in the best way possible, crazy, creative people I've ever been around. His mind just never stops thinking of creative." But it's like being in a whirlwind of stuff, so without the harness and without somebody to point the tornado, it's just all over the place. He's a victim of his own mind and is creative, and it's just everywhere, said Triple H. Bray Wyatt was a major star in WWE during his previous run with the company. He portrayed a spooky character known as the Fiend, which was very popular with the fans. After his shocking release last year, the WWE Universe would love to see the Fiend on TV once again. Do you think Bray Wyatt is WWE bound? Sound off in the comments below.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me